Did I call up the next person? Jason Brunt. I'll look for your card.
Hello. I'm speaking here tonight on not only behalf of my children who are currently enrolled in Sarasota County, but also as a homeowner, where my property taxes pay your salaries. The way you guys have behaved in defiance of parents, changing the rules overnight to disrupt freedom of choice and speech, has been embarrassing to watch. The behavior with the mask exemption forms after hundreds stood in line for hours to see a chiropractor to get their medical exemption form signed was immature at best. Then making parents tonight also jump through hundreds of hoops and doctor's fees to get the new set of walking papers signed so that way we could show up here without masks is even more disconcerting. Expecting a mask that allows particles up to 80 microns wide to penetrate through it when the virus is 0.12 microns and floats on aerosol droplets of 3 to 5 microns is absolutely absurd and ridiculous. It's like expecting to swat a gnat with a tennis racket. It's not about science, it's about compliance. When you deliberately ignore well-qualified doctors and scientists just because they do not share your radical progressive stance, you are not encouraging science, you're engaging in propaganda. I want to read a passage from a book I've recently read. Quote, "And it is worth noting that the struggle for the culture was waged perhaps in its bitterest form around the school, because this was the nursery where the seeds had to be watered, which were to spring up and form future generations. The tactical objective of the fight was the winning over of the child, and it was to the child that the first rallying cries was addressed." This is a passage from a book called Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler. Now, I know you feel righteous in your conquest to force mass mandates and force compliance against the will of the people, but let me remind you, many German citizens, like we just heard from, also felt righteous as they cheered when Jews were cleared from their streets. Just because the government and media tells you something is justified does not mean that it is. For Christ's sakes, what's next? Are we going to send our children to the Lausanne chambers if they're unvaccinated? In the Bible, which you don't like, I get, Romans 16 to 17 states, "I appeal to you, brothers, to watch out for those who cause divisions and create obstacles contrary to the doctrine that you have been taught. Resist them." Thomas Jefferson says, "When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty." As a veteran myself and millions of other soldiers who have defended this country since 1776 to secure our freedoms, as well as the millions of active and retired police officers who took an oath to defend our country from both enemies foreign and domestic, I am here today to tell you that your Fourth Reich behaviors are to stop now. I demand that you cease and desist. We the people are angry, and we're commanded by our Bible, our Constitution, and our oaths to put an end to your tyrannical and destructive behavior. This is a hill that me and many others are willing to die on. My children are not your SS soldiers. This is not 1930s Germany. This is America. It's 2021, and your progressive heads are so far up your rear ends, you're going to have to cut holes in your nipples just to see what the hell is happening around you.
Thank you.
It is time that you stop. I demand you stop, and we the people demand you stop.
Thank you. I've heard enough. Thank you.